We also want to get back to our election coverage. ABC and Scripps News now projecting that Donald Trump will be the next president of the United States. That announcement coming after Trump's projected win in Wisconsin.
And we want to get over to Denver 7's Wanye Reese. He'll look at how our state voted. But first, we want to look at those latest overnight developments. Wanye, it wasn't looking good for Harris earlier in the evening. And as things came into focus, wow, those swing states really went in Trump's direction.
Good Wednesday morning to you, Nicole and Anusha. As I was going to bed last night, I just saw that the votes just simply were not there for Harris to obtain the presidency. I want to take a look at our electoral college map. You can see that Donald Trump has 279 electoral college votes. He needs 270, so he is clearly at that number. While you were sleeping overnight, he picked up states like Georgia, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin. I want to take a look at one of the features that we have here where we can see the key states, and you can see how well he did in North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, more than 190,000 votes there. If we scroll down a little bit, you can see that he got more than 45,000 votes in Wisconsin. Let's take a closer look right now, though, at our state of Colorado to see how voters voted here. Obviously, Vice President Kamala Harris won our state by 54%. But one thing that I thought was really interesting, I want to give you a little bit of perspective. We can take things back in time, 4 years back, right here, boom, bam. And there you see right there that back in 2020, President Donald Trump at the time was 439,000 votes behind then President Joe Biden. And you can see right now here in 2024, a huge difference. Former President Donald Trump only 292,000 votes behind. So we have this feature here just to give you a greater picture of what's happening. Obviously, Vice President Kamala Harris did win the state of Colorado, but you can definitely see a shift in the vote, a shift in the electorate, how people are voting. And Anusha and Nicole, that's very indicative of how things are looking with control of the Senate and House when it comes down to Washington, D.C.
Yeah, the comparisons are really interesting, showing you how that's changed over the last couple of years.
And we've been seeing that in multiple states this morning. Thank you, Wanye.
Well, Colorado is among 10 states deciding whether to cement reproductive rights into the state constitution. Early results show a measure in Florida failed to expand abortion access. Then in Arizona, Maryland, Montana, and New York, those measures are expected to pass.
Here in Colorado, of course, we had that measure on our ballot as well. So we want to get to Denver 7's Adria Irahita looking at Amendment 79 and Colorado's other ballot results. Good morning, Adria.
Yeah, good morning, Nicole, Anusha. It looks like Colorado is going to be joining those 3 states in expanding abortion rights statewide. It's just one of 2 pretty clear results that I want to talk about right now. So let's get right into it. So Amendment 79, that's the one we're talking about as far as abortion rights. So this would put the right to an abortion into the Colorado Constitution, also overturning Colorado's 40-year ban on using state and local funds for abortion. So right now, as it stands, more than 61% of voters are in favor, compared to more than 38% against it. So next, I want to talk about Amendment J, also projected to pass. This would remove language in the Colorado Constitution that defines marriage as only between a man and a woman, with more than 63% of Coloradans voting yes, compared to 36% against it. One that's a bit of a close race is Prop 131. This would transform the way primary elections are held in Colorado, including the open primary and ranked choice voting, rather. Right now, the state holds semi-open primaries, and as of this morning, 55% of voters are against it, while nearly 45% voting for it. So Colorado voters deciding on more than a dozen statewide ballot measures. I'll be breaking down the results of a lot of those ballot measures coming up throughout the morning. Reporting live in Denver, Adria Irahita, Denver 7.
Yeah. Adria, thank you. And I followed education issues closely in this election. A big one would have put school choice in the state's constitution. Amendment 80, though, appears to have failed, with 52% of voters rejecting it. Opponents of Amendment 80 pointed to the fact that Colorado's law already allows students to open enroll at any school and said the amendment was unnecessary. Supporters said they were seeking to prevent future challenges to school choice. And of course, we're tracking the big congressional races in our state this morning as the U.S. House is poised to hold on to its Republican majority.
Ali Jennerjohn is following the results from the newsroom. And Ali, as those numbers are coming in, what are you seeing?
Yeah, good morning to you both. Right now, we're looking at the 8th Congressional District. Now, this race is really a test of how well Republican State Rep Gabe Evans and Democrat U.S. Rep Yadira Caraveo can appeal to Latino voters. It's a newly formed district north of Denver, and right now, guys, it's too early to call. We know that about 40% of the district's population is Hispanic, and so are the two candidates. Right now, Caraveo has 50% of the vote. Gabe Evans has 48%. Denver 7 did try to get an interview from both candidates. Caraveo did not speak last night, but one of our photographers was able to speak to Evans late into the night.
We knew this going into this race. This was the closest Republican loss in the nation 2 years ago, and we knew that this was going to be one of the closest, if not the closest race in the nation, and it has absolutely lived up to that billing.
Well, the winner of this race could determine which party controls the U.S. House of Representatives come January. Live in the newsroom, Allie Jenner-John, Denver 7.